Good afternoon, and welcome to a new type of segment here at Blind_Prime because I had an idea. So I'm going to call this 3D printing ideas. We're just going to keep it simple and not creative at all. Yeah, that's the spirit. So, this idea came about over a couple of days. Wednesday, I spent the day working in the yard, cleaning up some leaves and stuff because it was only 90 degrees Fahrenheit here where I live, and the humidity was only at like 58, 60%, and there was a wind. So it was a beautiful, perfect day to do lawn work. You can't ask for a better day in summertime here in Florida to do yard work. The humidity was low, the temperature was low, and the wind was at a good clip, so it felt nice in the shade. Now, I of course heard that people all over America were dealing with some insane. Where do these blast effects come from? Huh. People all over America were dealing with some insane temperatures on Wednesday, and I laughed at it like, yeah, typical Florida attitude. I experienced a 90-degree day, and went, oh, excellent! It's cool enough to do yard work. Uh, so that's how I spent my Wednesday, getting things cleaned up in the yard. We had been not doing that task for a little while because of the baking heat. So that was a lot of fun. Got some exercise, cleaned up the yard. Of course, after you do something like that in this type of heat, after you've mowed the grass and cleaned up all the leaves, you get this yard that feels a lot better because there's not as much biomass in the yard to collect the heat from the day. So at night, your yard feels cooler than it would have if you had left all that stuff there. So we've cooled ourselves down here, and yeah, two thumbs up for that. That was a good job. I'm proud of it. I'm happy with it. And cleaning out the gutters was a lot of fun. That was first time ever. You put a water hose up at the top of the gutters and just kind of played with water for a little while, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, the inner kid in me always enjoys it when we can play with water and get a job done at the same time. So it's a double positive. One, you get to play, and two, you actually did some work. So while doing all that, I've been thinking about the Dragonfly that's being released for the HasLab project. And I've been thinking about the fact that there were Night Force characters in there, and they just recently announced, there's going to be, or at least the rumor is, there's going to be a RAM cycle for Night Force. And I really wish they'd retool it a little bit, like they did with the Vamp to make it into the Stinger. That was a nice bit of retooling, and that was cool. They just don't seem to like to retool the RAM. And also, are we ever going to get another coil? Because the coil was cool. I like the coil. I would like more coils, please. So, anyway, back to the RAM. That was just a small tangent about the coil. I was thinking, okay, if you have this Dragonfly that's kind of done up like Night Force, it seems like if you put the right stickers on it, boom, you have yourself a Night Force your Dragonfly. Well, then you have your Night Force RAM cycle. But how does the Night Force RAM cycle get to where the Night Force RAM cycle needs to get? It's going to be carried by your Night Force Dragonfly, right? Yeah, of course you're going to carry it with the Dragonfly. Why not? But is there a way to carry it? Well, there's that hook, so I guess you could find a way to hook your RAM cycle somewhere and just kind of have it hanging on the end of a hook. But I thought that would look stupid on your shelf. When you want something that looks a bit more militaristic, something that looks a bit more like it can handle ruggedness, and it's actually built to hold the RAM cycle. And then I remembered about 3D printing. Now, I don't have a 3D printer, and being blind, I am terrible at computer 3D design. It just seems like computer 3D design isn't where it's at for the blind yet, and but I have the ability to think in 3 dimensions. Like I think 3 dimensionally. That's how I've always done. You tell me a molecule, and I'm thinking of it in a 3 dimensional atmosphere. Like I got a little 3D model of it in my head. And most things I think 3 dimensionally. So like this little stage right here, it's in my head with its full dimensions, up and down and left and right, and stuff like that. There's no, I know I got a weird mind palace, but that's how it works. So I hang up a lot of pictures in my mind palace that are 3 dimensional, and I refer to them if need some help with, since I went blind, I need to double check some of the images. Somebody brings up the Optimus Prime, well, I'm going to go to the Optimus Prime section of my Mind Palace and figure out which one they're talking about by looking at all the images. And that tangent over. No, lots of tangents. Having fun today, though. I was thinking about the way to carry the RAM cycle in, and doing it with 3D printing. So here's what I came up with. And if you utilize this design that I'm going to verbally explain to you right now, I would ask that, if you utilize it, tell people where you got it from. And 2, send me a copy, please, because I don't have a 3D printer or any way to do 3D design. And I would absolutely love to shout out your 3D printing company and give you some praise and send people your way. If you totally send stuff my way, we can do that. I scratch your back, you scratch mine, and the world rolls a bit better. Helping each other out, right? So here's the idea, and go ahead and make as much money off of this as you want. I just want a copy, and I want my name out there so more people can find my channel, because my channel is about raising awareness of the blind and the visually impaired through alternative means and methods, and this is including to, but not limited to, apparently, 3D printing design. Oh, I love that mission statement. I can use that theorem for a lot of things. That's my thesis for the channel. Thesis being said, here's what I had planned, okay? And I should have gotten a 3D. I'll get a RAM cycle. Let's see. Where's one of my RAM cycles? I have a couple of them over here. We got one that Duke is driving. Yeah, we can use Duke's RAM cycle. Yeah. We'll not use Lady J's. We'll use Duke's. Come here, Duke. Duke. Oh, I swear. Duke, don't you play around with me. Okay. All right. Here we go. I got Duke in his RAM cycle, and it's Tiger Force. And also, I took the retro Duke's helmet and put it on the Duke that drives the RAM cycle, because seriously, Hasbro, make people who drive motorcycles put helmets on people, okay? You need to do that as a toy company. You need to showcase that, and you need to show that it's cool to wear a helmet. It's cool. Make cool helmets. Make it cool to wear a helmet. Always be pushing the helmets whenever utilizing any motor vehicle transportation that does not have a roof. Like, for instance, this RAM cycle, okay? I was really happy when the Vamp's driver clutch came with a helmet, because, the Vamp doesn't have a roof. You need a helmet for that. You gotta be safe. You gotta be safe, especially when driving motorcycles. Always wear a helmet. Always wear a helmet. I will always push that. I will die on that hill when it comes to motorcycles, because I have seen where it goes when someone doesn't wear a helmet. I have witnessed that, and that is not fun. Okay? No, not fun at all. All right. So back to the RAM cycle and happier things. Wear your helmets, children. And adults, too. I'm talking to you. Driving around your motorcycle, not wearing a helmet. You're being irresponsible. You're showing kids that it's cool to not wear helmets, and that's not cool. Bad motorcycle driver. All right. Now, the platform here, I was thinking it would stretch just to the edge. Okay, so because of how this 3D printing project works, you're going to need to, what I figured is you're going to need 4 pieces, no, 5 pieces, and some cord. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pieces and some cord. Sorry, 6 pieces and a little cord or wire or whatever you want to use. All right, so what you're going to do is piece number 1 is the biggest. Piece number 1 would be the platform. All right, you'll figure out the measurements for the RAM cycle here, and you want to build the platform just, I'd say, half of an inch in front of the RAM cycle on each side. Okay, and then on the sides, you want to do a 1/4 inch further. All right, not a half an inch on the sides, just on the front and the back of the RAM cycle. You want about half an inch, about two of my fingers thickness, and you only want 1/4 inch, about one of my fingers thickness on each side, the side card side and the other side. Okay. So you will actually get kind of a platform. Ah, wow, look at that. All right, so funny enough, I'm playing with this center bar in this Wii Fit pad I use. This center area that doesn't have any rough texture on it, because you got these areas you're supposed to put your feet and then the area between. If I line the wheels up just off center, because the since the RAM cycle has a sidecar, you want to measure everything with that connection. You want to make sure that because the RAM cycle and the sidecar are about the same thickness, so the connection point between the RAM cycle and the sidecar is where you'll be measuring for your center. So you want to try and find the center there and put that center line there. Now, funny enough, the Wii Fit pad is about the right size. Lengthwise, yeah, it's a little longer, but it's not too much longer. And widthwise, it's a little wider than it should be, but not too much wider. So that's a good way to start it. All right, and that's platform number one. And it's my advice to you that you actually put grooves in there. So this is going to take some measurement and a little skill, but you want to put a groove in there to fit the front wheel, the back wheel, and the sidecar wheel. So that whenever you drive your RAM cycle onto this platform, these wheels fit inside those grooves and sort of keep it stable, because it's going to be a platform that flies around. So you don't want it to flop around too much, and we'll get to it, stopping it from flopping around. All right, now we're going to come over to the other pieces. So we'll call that one piece number one. Now, piece number two and piece number three are going to be very similar pieces, but one's going to, actually, they could be exactly the same because of where they're at. And so can pieces number four and pieces number five. But pieces number two and piece number two and piece number three are going to be ramps. Now, when you build this platform for your RAM cycle, I suggest putting some sort of link system up where you can plug some hinges in, whether or not they be hollow tubes that you'll put a wire through, or whether or not they'll be ball and socket little things that you can clip the joints into, like with like with some of the hinges with transformers and stuff. Where you would think it's the bar hinge that pops up, and you could just pop it out of its little sockets. So something like that maybe. But the idea behind that would be these are two ramps that will fold up and lock into place. And we'll get into how they lock into place in a moment. So you want those ramps to fold up on either side, and they will fold up to be just above the height of the little tail end of the motorcycle. So just a little bit, I think, at it. So actually, thickness of my hand here. My hand being about, I don't know, 2 inches thick, maybe? No, I know I'm terrible with sizes. You lose your vision and you start losing your measurements correctly. But lucky enough, we have handy dandy Lego pad, because I forget it exists sometimes, and that's my bad. All right, handy dandy Lego pad can really help us explain this. Okay, so whenever it comes to those closing ramps, I'd want to put them about there. Now, right there is the ramps. When they're in their upward position, will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 studs tall. Yeah, 10 studs tall seems accurate. So you want those ramps to be 10 studs tall. And just for an understanding of all this, funny enough, the Lego pad here is about the right thing. So we'll measure out how many studs long you want this to be, because we want it to be just a little bit in front of each wheel. So we'll give it 4 studs. Ooh, don't mean to flip you over, but let's bring you over here so we can actually get a good measurement with these wheels. There we go. Set it off to the side. Measure it down just a bit. Measure it up just a bit. So you want to put it where... All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's 4 studs in front of that wheel. And can we get 4 studs behind that wheel? We can only get 3 studs behind that wheel, but the idea is still there. So you want to get 4 studs in front of each of these wheels, and I think that will give enough area for the ramp to open and shut and lean forward just a bit, because that's how you're going to keep the ramp in place. The ramp's just going to kind of lean forward, and we'll get to how the ramp holds in place in a moment. So we'll set the board off to the side real quick, and we'll set him sideways again. Now, when we those ramps are pieces 2 and 3, and I would suggest tapering them down, so when the ramp folds down, it gets closer to the ground and makes a nice ramp platform for the motorcycle to drive up. And then of course, it can drive up the rear ramp, and then it will drive off the front ramp. And that way, you don't need to do anything about backing it up or anything like that. You can actually have it posed where the front ramp is down and it's ready to go, or it's halfway out, and then you can have the chain gun on the side already with some blast effects firing away. And can I just say that I am a little sad that we can't put you can't switch the sides of the sidecars for different perspectives. Like, if you wanted to put him on your shelf, but you wanted to put him like he's currently facing the camera, you could have had it on that side. I don't know. I just kind of wish that the sidecar was modular, and that they actually gave us a sidecar that someone could sit in. So continuing with the pieces, we're on pieces number 4 and 5. Now pieces number 4 and 5 are going to be the side pieces. Okay, so I got him spun sideways. Now they're going to be just as long as piece 1, or maybe just a little shorter, because piece 1, the platform piece, what I was thinking about is putting a hole in 4 holes in it, 1 at each corner, just inside the corner. The maximum strength allowance for that. Make sure it's sturdy and stable. That's why I was giving a 1/4 inch to each side and a 1/2 inch to each, front and back. That was another reason, was to ensure that there was enough extra area for the poles to actually be put in. And if there needs to be more space to make sure those poles are stable, then have at it. You'll be the one designing it and checking the measurements. I'm just coming up with the initial design. If it needs to be engineered to be work better, then engineer it away. Now, what you do with these is there won't be 4 poles. There will actually just be 2 pieces. Each piece will have 2 poles. So piece number 4 and piece number 5 will be mirrors of each other, or exactly the same, if you will. They will have a pole, 2 poles, and then in the middle there will be a line that connects the 2 poles together. So whether or not you make the poles rectangular, circular, I don't think that really matters, just so long as you have 2 things that stick up, or 4 things that stick up, 2 on each side of the platform that's in the middle. So you want to have them sticking up around on the edges, and that should go above where the driver will sit on the motorcycle. Because another thing I want to make sure about is, actually having somebody sitting on the motorcycle whenever it's being transported, so it can just be driven off immediately. And I know it's not the safest thing in the world, but it is the most G.I. Joe thing I could think of, right? So that way we could I had to straighten him up a bit, make sure he was actually sitting straight. So with Duke here, we can measure out how tall we want those sticks to be, or those cylinders. So if we do it just at the top of his head, that's not really going to work out too well. So we're going to go up a bit more, but not by too much more, because doing it too much more and you're just going to have some crazy sticks, right? So I think just a bit more up, we'll put it there. Okay, so right there, what is that connection point? Oh, I went backwards by mistake, but that meant that was 10 and that's 9. So we're 9 studs down from actually no, we're 8 studs down. Now we take 8 and we subtract from 32, and 8 subtracted from 32 is 24. So we want it to be 24 studs tall, however that is in metric or imperial. Let me know. And but that's what you want. You want 24 studs in height for each of those things, and then you'll want a connection pole that should be at the same height as the ramps. Now remember, when the ramps, here's where the I think that you should put little sidebars on each side that would be about the same height as the ramps when the ramps are folded up. So whenever you're looking at it, you got the folded up ramps on the front and back, and then you have this guide bar, this lead bar, it's getting out of control over here, going on either side of it, so it doesn't flop sideways. That was what I was thinking. Like, how are you going to stop this thing from flopping sideways? Well, you put a bar going down the side. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, talking you through it and talking myself through this idea that I had, um, you don't want to put that bar too much higher than the sidecar here because the sidecar is going to be necessary in keeping this thing stable. So you want to put the bar actually below where the ramps would go. So here we go. Let's take a look because the bar won't be too tall off the ground. Boom. Bringing out the handy dandy Lego pad again. And we want to put the bar at not too low. So what if we put it at this marker here? How would that look on the ramp cycle? Okay, so that's not too bad. That's a good stable connection on that side, but is it a stable connection on the other? Like, would it rub? No, RAM cycle. Oh my God! Come back here. All right. Let's take a look on this side. Okay. All right. It would lean against his knee area, but I don't think I think maybe that would actually work. So we're going to put it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So make it 6 studs tall for those bars on either side, and those would help keep the horizontal bars on either side will help keep the vertical bars more stable. And if you wanted to add a little extra flair, I advise taking the top of those vertical bars on each side of the, because one piece would be 2 vertical bars and then 1 horizontal bar going across. And then I advise taking the tips of those 2 vertical bars and making some right triangles by bringing another bar from the tip of the vertical bar down to the center of the horizontal bar. And then you can actually like have a little piece of plastic coming down from that horizontal bar that isn't necessarily connected directly to the platform. It just sits on top of the platform, and that can add to a little stability and make it also look kind of more rugged and militaristic. It's got triangles, and triangles are always fun. Everybody likes triangles because triangles are a really good shape. So those are those 2 pieces. You want to do the bar, the 2 vertical bars that go up a. You know what? You just leave that. That they go up to 24 studs tall, and you want to make sure the horizontal bar goes up 6 studs tall, and then you want to make some diagonal connections that will end up being 2 right angle triangles that have points connected in the middle, and then a little piece that comes down from that middle area of the horizontal bar and rests on top of the platform, piece number 1. Okay, those are pieces number 4 and 5. Now we're going to move into piece number 6. Okay, and chords. So chords, when you build pieces number, and not get things over. When you build pieces number 4 and piece number 5, it is my advice that you put eyelets at the tops of those vertical poles that we talked about. You want an eyelet at the top, so that's 4 eyelets. Now that you have, when you get the eyelets, you can bring cords from those eyelets and connect them into the center above where the very center of the platform. So cut the cords appropriately to be the length necessary to go above the head of your Duke here, and from that you want to print one more piece. So it's actually not going to be 4 cords; it'd just be 2. You want to make an X pattern above the head of the driver of your RAM cycle. Then you'll bring in piece number 6. Now piece number 6 will actually be 2 pieces, so we'll call them 6A and 6B. 6A will be the bottom, and 6B will be the top. Now 6A and 6B you'll design them to clip together and stay clipped together once clipped together. Excuse me. And 6A will just kind of have a flat bottom that it's not too, nothing too special, but you do want to make sure it rests above the head. So whenever it's resting on those cords, you want it above the head. Now 6B that clips into 6A, so I suggest having 6A have all the clips necessary, and then 6B has the little holes for the clips to go into and snap into place. And it's also advisable you do the same clippy, snappy thing with pieces 4 and 5, and 2 and 3. Now, what you have on piece 6B is a big eyelet designed for a hook. And once you clip those into place, you should, and I advise using, if you have access to the vamp, using the vamp. If you have access to the WWE Reckon Slam Mobile, you can use that one as well, crane wise or hoist wise, to experiment and figure out how to get it right. But once you get that eyelet right and the right size, then you can have your helicopter come in and grab it and winch up your ram cycle. You can pose, even if the winch isn't strong enough to actually support the ram cycle, you can still pose the ram cycle in the little cage below the Dragonfly. While the Dragonfly's got all of its missiles launched, you can have the platform lowered and a bunch of blast effects in this chain gun. Like the Dragonfly is launching a barrage, and it's released the ram cycle. The ram cycle's chain gun's just going at it, and he's got a little bit of a wheelie action happening. He's just driving right into battle, right as the airdrop happens. I think that would just be the coolest thing in the world. And I do look at this whole Dragonfly thing and like, really, guys? You didn't give us a ram cycle platform? It sounds like it'd be pretty easy. It also sounds, well, maybe not. To a person who's been doing 3D printing and design, I think this is an easy enough project. To an individual who's never done that before, like me, it sounds a little more complicated. I guess that one all depends on perspective and one's experience. I don't have much experience, but I have enough to know that if you've been doing it for a while, what I've just described to you shouldn't be too difficult, I hope. And it's my hope that it could work out pretty well. Also, the nice thing about this is, did I drop this? Yeah, I dropped a figure here. Come here. Morph. Yeah, Morph. We can lay Morph out. All right, so we lay Morph out on the ground. And Morph is just about as long as a ram cycle. So here's the alternative thing you can do with this platform that you built for the ram cycle. You can take Doc's gurney that Doc comes with, and you can put it in the middle of that platform. Or now here's one. I'll be back. Let's grab it up. All right, come here, Slam Ambulance. Give me your gurney. Or you could have the Slambulance's gurney here, and the gurney from the Slambulance, let's move this Morph out of the way. The gurney from the Slambulance would also fit inside of that. And if you wanted to make it, if you wanted to put in like some lines across the way to, because the Slambulance's gurney's got these little bitty wheels. So if you put like little bitty lines like on this Wii Fit board, then those wheels would actually sit in that groove, and they wouldn't roll around too much. So that's something you can do, and that's something you could utilize this gurney with the platform in addition to the ram cycle. And I bet you could find other uses for a platform like that in addition to the ram cycle. So like you could take a bunch of fuel cans if you bought a lot of amps and just pile fuel cans in it, and then you have an airdrop of fuel and supplies to the GI Joes who are battling Cobra. You could do a lot, but that is my idea for a 3D printed platform. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. I don't have many social medias because a lot of the social medias are really difficult for me as a blind person to utilize, and you utilizing them instead of me would really help me out. So please, do that. Get on your social media platforms and share this idea. Let's see if we can get some 3D printers interested in making some, and I know there's most likely 3D printers already out there trying to figure out how to do what I just described to you, but I want you to be first. All right, and don't forget the two rules with it. If you end up taking my design and you want to make money off of it, and you want to sell it to your friends and stuff like that, or want to sell it online, then I will allow it, so long as you tell people that the idea came from Blind Prime, and you send me a copy so that I can review it and talk about it, and then you can utilize my review video on your website for that particular product. And you can be like, look, it's so good. A blind man approved of it. Yeah? Yeah, it could work. It could. We could make a beautiful friendship. Thank you all so much for participating in today's video with me, for listening along, enjoying your coffee or what have you. I've enjoyed talking to you about this. This has been A lot of fun, and I've been dwelling on this idea for a little while, and I wanted to share it with you. I tried typing it out on Reddit, but Reddit had an update, and now it's really difficult, and I need to make a video talking about how come the Reddit application has become nigh impossible for the blind to use after their update. So look, keep an ear out for the notification for that video, and if you haven't been turning on notifications for my videos, what are you doing? Why don't you have notifications on? Do you not like me? Thanks for watching. Until next Prime, I promise I'll get Cream in here next time. He just enjoys the freshly mowed lawn. He's just been running around and rolling all over the place, digging up new holes and stuff. So many holes. I tripped in like 3 of them that my cat made. My cat makes holes. It doesn't even bury them. Dog cat, I swear to God. Bye-bye for now.